Not if they're actually retaining kids.
It's 1/3.
Actually keep them.
Right, you want to just get started? Yeah. Okay. Well, it's 1:30. Let's go ahead and get started. Hey, I want to thank y'all for coming. I know it's a big day as far as our program. I'd like to kind of thank a few people before we really get started on this. I know Coach Thurman, I know that he has given us a lot of support as far as the things that we need to do, so very excited about that. I also like to thank Todd Helton. I know he's had to do a lot of work as far as us getting information, him having to do that, and also with Pam Nichols and the girls that have up there as far as doing all the other work that we have. I mean, without them, it's been pretty tough. I also like to thank Doug Self, our SID, as far as putting the information out, getting everything put together. I think y'all are going to be very pleased when you see as far as the final product as far as our recruits and what we have online. And the biggest thing I need to thank, guys, is that people don't understand is as far as my coaches. A lot of people don't realize as far as the work that goes into this. I mean, when we talk about the players we're fixing to talk about, it was a big-time job. I mean, a lot of people think our coaches, all they worry about is, okay, X's and O's and right in here. But guys, they understand as far as our means of life, as far as what this means as far as in college, and they understand as far as the recruiting, how important it is for us to get those players. And so, first off, my tip my hat off to my assistant coaches, guys. They've done an unbelievable job as far as the process, as far as evaluating, looking at all different types of film. And we've come up as far as a group of young men that we feel like that we can have as far as a lot of success in the next few years. So I want to kind of cover this, go with that first. I'll talk with the defensive players first. I know that we had one person that we did bring in as far as at the break. You know, people talk about as far as bringing guys, JUCO stuff right in here. We did bring in one defensive player in as far as at Christmas. It's going to be here for the spring ball. His name is Julian Cole. He is a 6'2", 220-pound linebacker. A young man that we really like. He's very physical, and guys we like as far as his speed. And that's one thing as far as with Coach Gibson. Our defense is geared as far as a lot more as far as the speed. And I think that this guy is really going to kind of fit in for us. So that was the main guy that we brought in as far as at the break. But right now I'd like to kind of talk about our senior class that we're bringing in as far as recruiting class. Consists of, I believe, 18 players on the defensive side that we were talking about. And I want to kind of go over those real quick with you. Let's first talk about as far as our cornerbacks. We've signed some guys that I feel like that are going to be a big asset to us. So first one is Jalen Thompson. He's from the Colony High School. He's a 5'11", 160-pound young man, an all-conference guy. One thing about him is that he set a lot of records as far as at the Colony, as far as the tackles. Guy we like as far as the way he moves. I think he's a kid that's going to be able to come in there as far as and fight for the position at the cornerback spot. We know how important it is as far as to find a person that can come in here and do that. Another one we have is a kid from Norman North. Bo Garver is his name. Bo is 6', 180. He's also a 3-year starter for him. This year was, I believe, the second leading tackler on his football team there at Norman North. Another kid, a 3-year starter, a kid that we feel like that's got the capability of coming in and pushing those older guys and as far as for playing time next year. We got in 5 safeties. With our defense guys, you know, we've got a free safety, strong safety, all those. We brought in 5 guys we feel like that are going to make an impact. We feel like there's a couple right now that we feel like that they can come in and do the pushing with them, but we also got some outstanding young men with this one. First young man is Jordan Frederickson. Jordan is from Harrow, Oklahoma. He's 6'2", weighs about 220. He's a kid that I was basically recruiting as far as a receiver. When I started watching film on that, I was watching with my offensive coaches, and all of a sudden, you know, as we're watching that, it would show some of the defensive ones, and we just stopped it right then and got up and went and told the defensive guys, you need to look at this guy, because I think he's a better defensive player than he was an offensive player. So a guy that led 4A in tackles this year, very big, strong kid, very smart. Had a lot of academic opportunities as far as some of the Ivy League, but selected us, so we're very excited about him. Gerald White is a young man out of as far as Tipton High School. Gerald has played here. You know, when we talk about as far as on our field, guys, he's played 4 years, I believe, out on our field 3 years in a row playing for a state championship down at Tipton. Been a 3-year starter for him, actually started for 4 years for him. You know, Gerald is a type of young man that we know, like I said, he comes from a winning program, but guys, he's tougher than nails. I mean, he may be the best 8-man football player in the state. He really is. When I've talked to other coaches as far as in the 8-man area, they talk about him all the time. And so he's a kid that we've watched really since he was a sophomore that I really noticed him. This year he led his team again to another state championship. So very excited about getting a young man like Gerald White in. Ryan Lemons is a 6 foot, 195-pound kid from Cedar Park High School in Cedar Park, Texas. Another kid as far as comes off a state championship football team down in Texas. They were state runner-ups this year. They were state champions a couple of years ago. Finished with 40 tackles. A kid, again, like I said, with his size, as far as with his speed, Ryan is going to really have a great chance for us coming in and helping us. Joel Kabongo is a 5'10", 190-pound kid from Byron Nelson High School. He's one, and like I said, is another type of kid that we feel like that he can kind of come in and learn the system. We feel like that he has a big upside as far as hauling down the line. He may be a type of kid that might be able to help out next year as far as his special teams, but he can also come in, guys, and help him. Very big as far as the powerlifting down in Texas. Another young man that we, very good kid, first team all-conference player. Next safety we've offered is Nick Yates. Nick Yates is from Marlow High School. 5'9", 175-pound defensive back. This kid, as far as Marlow, if you know anything about Marlow, a great tradition as far as their athletics. The kid's involved in every athletic deal as far as they have at Marlow. That type of kid. A great individual kid that we like being on there. He's a 4-year leader in football. The thing is, guys, as far as he goes, as far as track and baseball, he's also as far as he's done in wrestling. So he's a very good athlete, and he's the type of kid that, like I said, we like to recruit kids that are good athletes because we feel like that those can play in different areas and can help us out. So very excited about those young men. Next position we're looking at as far as linebackers. We have 3 linebackers that we've committed to us right now. This was a position that we knew that we already had a lot of guys on here, but we want to make sure we get a couple of guys in here that can go on there. First one got Malcolm Davis, a 6'2", 210-pound kid from Brewer High School in White Settlement, Texas. 3-year letterman, also plays baseball, first team all-conference. The guy is also going to be playing in several all-star football games down in Texas. A kid that one thing we like about him too is that he does have great speed. All right, and we think, like I said, we're recruiting guys that have a lot of speed because that's what's important for us on the defensive side. Zachary Finley is the next one. He's from Friendship High School in Woolworth, Texas. Again, he is a young man that has gotten several awards, all conference, all South Plains. He's also been on some All-State awards too. Another young man that is the same way. I mean, these guys are they also almost look the same when they come in and visit us. But they are, one thing about it, guys, is that they are very physical, and guys, they do have some great speed, so we're very pleased with them. We also signed Johnson Miller. He is a 5'11", 210-pound kid from Oklahoma City Legion team. A private school league, I believe, up there. This guy has a lot about as far as history, as far as with Southwestern. His uncle's played here, his dad has played here. He's a kid that wanted to be here. He came in, we really liked as far as what we saw. He's one of those type of kids that we made an offer to him, guys. I promise you there was tears in his eyes. He was that excited about becoming a Bulldog. And those are the type of players we need. And so we're very excited about having Johnson as far as on our team. Again, like I said, this year he had over 136 tackles. And it was all over the field on their football team because, like I said, had to play in a lot of different positions. So very excited about getting him. The next position we knew was a big one that we had to work on as far as on the defense side, and that was our defensive line. Our defensive line, losing an All-American, you got to find some guys as far as replace that. We know we're not going to find one guy that can replace that part. So we got to go out there and find about 2 or 3 that we feel like that are going to be able to come in as far as and help us. We got a few right in here that we're very excited about. A.J. Dawson is a 6'2", 220-pound defensive end from Frisco Heritage. He played both defensive end and tight end on that part right there. He's a great guy as far as very athletic. We've seen him basically as far as the defensive end. Maybe later on he might get some weight where he might move him in there, but very quick off the line. We feel like he's going to be a big asset. Next one is DJ Johnson. DJ Johnson is from Midwest City. He was a 5'11", 280-pound defensive tackle. A young man that we know that there were some 1AA schools that were after him big time. We were very fortunate as far as to get him. I think the coach did a great job as far as going out and getting in and competing against some of the bigger schools, and we won a few battles. So we're very excited about getting DJ in here. He's an all-conference guy, all-city. Won as far as, also made as far as an all-state team. So he's an all-state defensive lineman. So very excited about getting this young man. Kedrick Holloway, a 6'3", 260-pound defensive tackle from Chisholm Trail High School in Fort Worth, Texas. Again, is a 3-year starter. He's an all-district player as far as on the pay. He's on a lot in the same mode as far as that we saw as far as with DJ. I think he's also the type of guy that we also look at that he's going to be able to put on probably another 10, 15 pounds easy, and we feel like that's going to be a big asset as far as on down the line. All right, next one is Colton Bowie. Colton Bowie, spelled B-U-I-E, which I didn't know that's how to spell that, but with a name like Cocannouer, I told him don't worry about it. But Colton comes in, a 6'3", 265-pound defensive tackle from Christopher High School in Christopher, Texas. He's multiple there. He's been on several high school All-American teams, second as far as All-State. He's been in a lot of the different parts, a lot of the most valuable player awards that he's gotten down there as far as in Texas. He was a kid that we were very excited about as far as getting up here. We knew once we got him on campus, guys, we'd have a great chance with him. We did. So we're very excited about having him. Brandon Rowland, 6'3", 270-pound defensive tackle from Purcell High School. A young man that basically came really kind of late to us as far as when we found out about him. You know, other people were kind of as far as interested in there, but when we brought him in here, we made him an offer. He's very excited about it. So, guys, we're very excited about having him. He's also an all-state defensive lineman, too, here in the state. That comes from a great program as far as with the coaches there we know. So, very excited about getting him as far as on the defensive line. The next one is Tyrick Lusk. Tyrick Lusk is a 6'2", 240-pound defensive tackle, also from the Colony High School. He had 10 sacks for losses, a safety, all that stuff. He was a defensive lineman MVP. All this other part of his second team as far as All-State. He also plays for some H-back. He's also one kid that when Coach Gibson and I watched him on film, the biggest thing he knows about that is his motor, how it ran. I mean, he was going from one side to the other, never quit. I know there's one play on film that really caught our eyes, that there was a ball that went away from him, guys, and he takes the angle and chases the guy down for about 50 yards down the field. So, like I said, very excited about having those type of guys on here. Our last defensive guy that we signed today is Noah Gregory, a 6'3", 230-pound defensive end from Thomas. Very excited about as far as getting a young man in this area that come down. He's one of those guys. I was looking as far as a couple other players, but all the other coaches that I talked to that played Thomas this year, he's the #1 guy they talked about. Matter of fact, the state finals, when they play on there, that's all they could talk about as far as how he dominated as far as the defensive line, as far as the offensive line of the other team, which was Cashin, but how he dominated that part and made a big difference in there. So very excited about getting a local kid like Noah Gregory, especially coming from a state championship team. I've said, you know, that guy knows how to win, and I think that's going to be a big plus for us. All right? So that was the defensive side. On the offensive side, we've have 16 players that we've signed as far as today, high school. But we did have two young men that came in as far as at the break. I'd like to recognize them first. We had 2 quarterbacks. Mark Evans is a quarterback from Ventura Junior College in California. 6'3", 205-pound young man. He's a first-team all-conference player last year. Had over 14 touchdowns in 9 games. Very highly recruited high school player when he came out as far as in high school. He's a kid that one thing that I liked about him as far as his size, when I watched the film, it reminded me of Dustin Stinton, the guy that we had here playing quarterback for 3 years for us in the past, where you know, always kept his eyes downfield as far as making things happen. So we're very excited about as far as getting that mark here. We're going to be able to see him this spring. The other quarterback we got in is a guy named Brooks Robertson. Brooks Robertson is a 6'2", 205-pound quarterback from Roland High School. He's a transfer from UCO. In high school, he passed from 2,500 yards and 35 touchdowns and rushed for 7 as a senior. Very athletic. As a matter of fact, I told him, I remember watching him playing the state finals as far as in basketball. He was a point guard for him. And so I know that he's a tremendous athlete and very excited about see what he can do for us as far as this spring too. So very looking forward to that one. We also did get another a person that came in as far as a player that came in at the break, and his name is Tyler Peterson. Tyler Peterson is a 5'11", 180-pound kicker, punter and kicker. We know that as an area that we were very interested in this young man. We kind of looked at him as far as last year, but he thought he was going to go to North Texas, and it just didn't work out for him. So now we were able to get him back, so we're very excited about it. Has a strong arm. The guys on campus right now are going to have to work their tails off as far as to get back there, because this guy can push them all. He's an all-conference player as far as the JUCO, so very excited about getting this young man to come in. All right? So now let's talk about as far as our offensive players that we have signed today. There were several needs that we wanted. We felt like that there was a thing that we had to get certain areas right there as far as to make our offense better. And I really feel like with the guys we signed today made us a lot better on the offensive side. There's no doubt about it. We signed 5 offensive linemen. We will look for kids that we feel like they're going to be as far as good-sized young men. That guys are going to help us as far as push the guys that are here. As a matter of fact, we feel like there's a couple that might have a good chance of starting for us next year. They're that type of players. The first one, his name is Tate Bathan. He's 6'5", 295-pound lineman from Era, Texas. He's a 2-time All-Conference District Offensive Lineman. He's also, one thing about it is you'll see a lot of these guys, they're big, tall ones, but they also play basketball, which lets us know, guys, that they're good athletes. All right? Good athletes. All right? So that's one thing that we are very excited about as far as getting that point. Those are the type of athletes we're going to get on there. But Tate is a big young man, I believe, as far as with his athletic ability, as far as what we liked about him, as far as pulling as a guard or pulling as a tackle, his pass blocking, we feel like that he has good feet on that one. Next one we signed was Elijah Britton. Elijah is a 6'5", 315-pound offensive lineman from Keller, Texas. Keller is Central, 2-time All-Conference guy. His brother Zach plays here, and he kind of said he wanted to play where his brother was. This guy's gotten offered from several 1AA schools, but this is what he wanted to do. So that's very exciting that we got a young man like this who wants to come to our program. He's a tremendous player. Next one is Tristan Close. Tristan Close is 6'7", weighs about 325 pounds. I think they list him at 350. He's lost a little weight. He's playing basketball, so basketball kind of takes a little weight off of him there. But he's a 2-time All-Conference player. Like I said, a very big, strong man. We feel like that he's the type of guy that he's got to come in and get himself in shape, that he is going to make a difference as far as on our offensive line in the next couple of years. We really believe that. I mean, he's a big man. I mean, when he came in there, everybody's saying how big he was. Guys, he's a big man. I'll just tell you, leave it at that one. Next one is Noah Dorton. Noah Dorton is 6'3", 295-pound player from Dewar, Oklahoma. He is also an all-state lineman this year, also all-district offensive lineman. He also competes in basketball, also in baseball. Again, very athletic. These guys are big young men, but the thing is they're very athletic, and that's one thing we want on our offensive line. We want some guys that can move. One thing that can help as far as protect our quarterback, but also as far as we want as far in the running game, do something with it. The next one is Connor Bazell. Connor Bazell is a 6'3", 285-pound kid from Collinsville, Texas. That's in Lindsay High School in Collinsville, Texas. He's a 2-time All-District Offensive Lineman. He was here last year on our combine. We had about 60 kids here, and he's probably the #1 person we noticed as far as athletic, very athletic. I mean, as a matter of fact, after we had as far as last July when we had our combine, we looked at it. That was my #1 guy. I said we've got to recruit. Main thing, guys, as far as what he can do as far as in the vertical jump, as far as agility, his movement. Guys, he's a tremendous athlete. I mean, out of these 5 guys right here, he may have the best feet, like I said. So we're very excited about having those type of guys. So we realized on the offensive line, losing what we did, we need to find some young men that we feel like they're going to make a difference as far as this program. And these 5 guys, we really believe, are going to be the ones that can do that. All right? So let's move on. Next area I want to kind of cover are going to be basically our receiving core. We feel like that there's some young men in here that we feel like that they do a lot of special things. The first one is a guy named Bryce Burt. Bryce Burt is a wide receiver from Lawton High School. He's 5'11", 175. He had over 600 yards receiving, 7 touchdowns. Also played on the defensive side, had 4 interceptions. He played on a state runner-up team at Lawton High. Thing is, the guy can return punts, he can return kickoffs. He's very versatile, and so we're very excited about as far as what we can do with that one. Just get the ball in his hands and let him do something with it. Next one is a young man named Jeremy Collins. Jeremy Collins is from Clemens High School in Shorts, Texas. He's 5'8", 170. He's also almost in the same kind of deal as far as with Burt. He's basically a running back as far as in high school. The guy with his things is catching the ball, the things we've seen, he's very versatile. Again, he's one where in high school you saw him returning kickoffs, returning punts. Again, a kid that can play many different spots on the offensive side for us. We were looking for those type of athletes that we feel like that are going to make things happen. DeRodney Thomas is a young man from Cushing High School in Cushing, Texas. He's 6'2", 195, first-team all-conference player. He's also a first-team all-conference basketball player, an all-state track player. Just an outstanding athlete. He's very quick, he's very strong, he has great hands. He's the type of kid that we feel like on the outside that he's going to be coming in here and pushing these guys that are in front of him. I mean, of all the receivers we got right now, I think this one, what we've seen with him, he's probably going to have the best shot as far as pushing the rest of them. We also have another one named Keaton White. Wide receiver from Frisco Heritage, Texas, 6'2", 185. Again, he is a first-team all-conference player. One thing that we liked about him is that he does have great hands, but the one thing that really sat on my mind watching him on film is that they get down there, they throw the ball, the quarterback throw the ball up downfield, is that a lot of times, you know, some players will go up for it, guys, he goes up and gets the ball. I mean, you know, one thing you watch as far as in the playoffs this past year, as far as how many times you saw receivers going up, he does that same thing. He's not going to wait on it. He realized that it looks like the point where you're talking about as far as the players say, hey, it's your ball, not theirs. That's the way he approached it. I mean, he made a lot of great catches that way, so we're very excited that he's going to be that type of physical player for us. The next area that we felt like that we really need to find on there is try to find a couple more tight ends. You know, we had a hard time as far as replacing a guy like Ryan Corbin a couple years ago as far as All-American. We felt like that we had last year we finally towards the end of the season got a little bit better at that spot. But we felt like we need to do more. And so we've signed 3 guys today. First one is Corey Gantz. He's a tight end from Enid High School. He's 6'6", 245. One thing we like about him, guys, is that his blocking. He does a great job blocking. A lot of times, as far as with our offense, sometimes we got to have him to do that. Yeah, it can't just be as far as the receiver deal, but he does a great job on that one. He's a 3-sport athlete. He's very agile for his size. And again, like I said, he's extremely physical. I think he's one that's going to come in there, and he's going to be able, as far as help us out immediately, as far as what we think he can do. Alex Ramirez is another tight end from Brewer High School in Brewer, Texas. He's 6'2", 220. He averaged over 30 yards a catch as far as a senior in high school. Very versatile, very physical. He's also a great linebacker as far as in his school too. But one thing we like about him is that he is a physical type of guy, that we can line him up, we can use him as far as blocking, but he also has great hands where we can send him out in the flats or even swing him out and throw passes to him. So I think he's the type of kid that's going to really fit in. Spencer Grider is another tight end from Louisville High School. He's 6'2". Right now, I think he said he weighs about 215. He may be a little light as far as compared to that one, but the thing is, what we like about him is that he's very versatile. He's got great hands. He runs great routes. But he's a young man that once he gets up here, guys, he's going to put on a little bit more weight. And when he puts a little bit more weight, guys, he's going to be a type of guy that we feel like is going to help us down the line. So excited about getting him. Our other player that we got signed on the offensive side is that we only signed 1 running back this year as far as right now. Kerry Daniels from Beggs High School. He's 6'1", 215. He had over 1,300 yards rushing, had about 13 touchdowns. He averaged about 8 yards a rush this year for him. Very strong player. We like as far as how he runs, as far as he does have the speed as far as outrun people, but he's also very physical. All right. You know, we're looking at other running backs. Don't get me wrong, this isn't the only one. This is the only one we signed right now. But when you only lose 1 running back out of the people that we got, guys, we didn't have to really look too far as trying to fill that position, because we do got some great kids on campus right now. But we're glad to get as far as Kerry. We did sign three quarterbacks. Three quarterbacks that we knew that this is a position that we need to make sure that we addressed. I felt like we addressed it as far as bringing the two guys in here at the break to compete with the three that we got on campus right now. So, you know, we expect a great deal as far as in spring. But the thing is, we signed three guys. We feel like that when the spring ball's over with, the top two guys out of spring are going to be competing with these guys right here. We just feel like they're the type of kids that are going to come in here and push these guys. So we're very excited about it. The first one we got is Casey Freeman. Casey Freeman is a quarterback out of Newcastle High School. He's 6'2", weighs 200 pounds. Casey threw for about 2,400 yards this year, 27 touchdowns, had 400 yards rushing and 10 rushing touchdowns as a senior. He's very smart, very accurate. I think he was averaging about 70% of his passes this year. The thing is that he does have the great ability to run too. One thing about as far as Casey that I like about him is that he comes from as far as a coaching family. He understands the game, so we're very excited about having him. He's the type of kid that I believe that he's going to come in, and whoever comes out of the spring is #1, better be ready to go, because this guy can push him. The next one we got is a young man named Tyler Marr, and he's from Beggs, Oklahoma. He's 6'3", 205, and guys, he's not too far behind Casey the way I look at it. I mean, he may be a little bit bigger in that way, but the thing is, he's thrown over 2,000 yards, 19 touchdowns, rushed for 5 touchdowns right in here. He's got a strong arm. All right, and like I said, I really think we've got some guys who are going to be pushing the guys that are on campus right now. So we're very excited about that because we know how important that position is to us. The next quarterback we signed was Trent Dunaway, quarterback from Thomas, Oklahoma. Trent is a tremendous athlete. He's 6'4", weighs about 215. He had almost 1,700 yards passing, 22 touchdown passes. He had 15 yards rushing, over 600 yards rushing on that. So the thing is, he's very athletic. I've watched him play basketball 2 or 3 times already this year. He's very, as far as smooth underneath there, as far as the goal. He can shoot 3-pointers. He's underneath there. I'm not trying to recruit him for Coach Batista, don't get me that wrong, but because he's going to be with us. The thing is, guys, he's very athletic. Matter of fact, recruiting this young man, I'm recruiting him as a quarterback / athlete. I think he's the type of guy that if he doesn't come in and he isn't one of the ones competing for one of those top 3 spots as far as quarterback spot, he's the type of athlete that I think can help us in other areas. And so that's one thing that I really liked about this young man. So we're very excited about as far as the class we've got. We've got some other young men that we're still waiting on. Right now, like I said, we feel like that we're going to take this, what we got right here, go through spring football and see where we stand after that. But overall, I believe this is a great class we've got. It's filled a lot of needs that we feel like we needed. And I'm very excited about these young men as far as coming in and being future Bulldogs. So if there's any questions, I'd be glad to answer for you. Is that a call from the president? No. Any questions? Well, if you do, guys, ask Doug Self. He's our SID. He can answer all your questions. So, no, guys, but thank you very much for coming. Like I said, we're very excited about this class right here and look forward as far as the next football season. So, thank you very much. Okay, punch and cake is no.